DomiNations is about to turn 10 years old, and the next update might be one of the biggest gameplay changes we've seen in a very long time. And honestly, I don't remember the last time an update had the potential to change the way we actually play the game. Not just a new troop, not just another balance patch, but something that might change how battles actually flow, how we control armies, how we design strategies, and maybe even how the meta evolves. Before we go deeper into this, let me introduce myself. My name is Uchoas. I'm from Brazil and I've been playing DomiNations since 2017. And if you enjoy this type of content, talking about the game, strategy, updates, and how the meta evolves, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel grow and it tells me you want to see more DomiNations content like this. Now, if you've been playing this game for a long time, well, you probably remember something. DomiNations today feels very different from what the game used to be back in the early days. The game was slower, much slower. Progression took time, sometimes even weeks. And if you wanted to speed things up, well, you basically had two choices. You waited or you spent crowns. That was the reality back then. Free-to-play players could still progress, but it definitely felt slower. And sometimes, if we're being honest, a little discouraging, because there were moments where the game clearly favored players who were willing to spend money. Some strategies were simply stronger, some troops were simply harder to obtain, and if your alliance went to war against a team that had those advantages, you could feel it immediately. Now, if you were playing during those years, you probably remember one of the most infamous troops in the game, elephant archers. The troop was insanely strong. If an alliance had access to them, wars became very difficult, and if your team didn't have them, you already knew the battle was going to be rough. Back then, the gap between paying players and free-to-play players was much more noticeable. But here's the interesting thing, the game didn't stay like that. Over time, the developers started introducing systems that slowly changed the entire experience. And today, if you log into the game, the difference is obvious. DomiNations now gives players rewards constantly. Events, chests, expeditions, multiplayer rewards, strike mode rewards, Marco Polo trades, speed ups, tokens, artifacts, council cards. It's everywhere. And if you played the game years ago, this change feels almost unbelievable, because back then speed ups were rare, very rare. Most of the time you simply waited for upgrades to finish. Today speed ups are everywhere. You get them from events, you get them from multiplayer chests, you get them from strike rewards, you get them from expeditions, and suddenly the pacing of the game changed completely. Upgrades that once took days can now be accelerated easily, which means free-to-play players can progress much faster than before. Getting artifacts was actually very difficult. Marco Polo would occasionally bring one, maybe once a month, maybe. If you missed it, you waited. But today, the entire artifact system is completely different. You can earn legendary tokens, you can buy artifacts directly, you can build different setups. You can showcase artifacts in the war hall, you can create entire builds based around artifact bonuses, and when you combine that with the council system, things get even more interesting, because council members bring historical figures into the game, each with their own bonuses. Some boost offense, some boost defense, some boost specific troop types. And over time, players can build combinations that match their playstyle: offensive builds, defensive builds, war builds, farming builds. And that level of customization simply didn't exist years ago. And if you play regularly, the game constantly feeds you new resources. And that's one of the biggest reasons the game feels much more friendly for free-to-play players today. But there's another interesting thing happening in the game right now. The meta, for a long time, certain strategies completely dominated the game. Now we have bastions that slow troops on the ground. We have more defensive mechanics. The amount of troops that appear in modern battles, especially because of munitions from the manufactory, the battlefield becomes much more chaotic. There are simply more troops everywhere, which sometimes makes all the strategies harder to execute. More defenders, more delays, and that's actually one of the reasons I'm curious about the upcoming balance changes. The goal is to increase the number of viable builds in the game. Instead of having only a few dominant strategies, the developers want more troop combinations to be competitive, and that's actually a very good sign for the future of the game, because if more strategies become viable, the game becomes much more interesting, much more creative, much more strategic, and honestly, that's exactly what a strategy game should be. DomiNations is still evolving, still adding systems, still rebalancing gameplay is actually a very positive sign. It shows that the developers still care about the long-term future of the game. Now, I'm curious about something. How long have you been playing DomiNations? Since what year? Are you excited about these changes? Do you think the game is better today than it was years ago? Let me know in the comments. I really want to hear what other players think about where this game is heading. The battlefield of DomiNations might look very different very soon. Alright guys, see you in the next one.